Morning, all. So, some news of the day as we're one day away from the beginning of the season, and there were less claims on the waiver wire than I thought there might be, and yet there were four. I'm trying to remember the last time I saw four waiver wire claims on the same day. So the claims go as follows: the Winnipeg Jets lost two players today. Lucas Biza was claimed by the Nashville Predators. The New Jersey Devils put in a claim for Eric Comrie, got him. So Corey Crawford's spot is replaced by Comrie. Keep in mind that if you acquire a player in this manner and then you put him back on waivers, the team that lost him on waivers can get him back. So teams won't just put these guys in the taxi squads. They can't. They have to put him back on waivers first. The Carolina Hurricanes, they claimed Anton Forsberg from the Edmonton Oilers. So they're familiar with him, and he's been part of the organization before. Very telling with Carolina as well is that Nedeljkovic is on waivers. So Nedeljkovic, who not that long ago was seen as probably being the future goaltender for the Carolina Hurricanes, he must be out of the plans because they bring back Anton Forsberg and they put him on waivers. And at this stage, if Nedeljkovic was ready and they had faith that he was going to be a goaltender in the National Hockey League, you wouldn't think they would make that move. So I don't know if Nedeljkovic ends up getting claimed, but it could happen. Rudolph Balcers is back in the San Jose organization. He was part of the trade that brought Erik Karlsson to San Jose. It does not even out the deal by them claiming Balcers back from Ottawa. It doesn't on any level. So I'll just leave it at that. So he's back in San Jose, and hopefully he's able to reach his peak level of ability. I do think that there's some offensive skill there. We'll see if San Jose can exploit that. Also on the waiver wire today, Leo Komarov is on waivers for the Islanders for the purpose of likely assigning him to the taxi squad, getting them some cap relief. So everybody else clears, including Corey Perry and including Tyler Johnson. Johnson may very well end up, after clearing waivers, back on the team. I don't know. The whole cap situation this year is going to be complicated, and we're going to see a lot of odd moves that are then followed by other odd moves. But yeah, so Perry clears, Shillington clears, which really surprises me. But there you go. If you had told me Spies would get claimed and Shillington wouldn't have, I would have thought that's kind of odd. I wouldn't have ruled it out, but here we are. So we'll see what happens tomorrow and whether or not Delkovich or Komarov are claimed. I can't see it. Komarov's ticket is $3 million. So his contract is expensive. That is one expensive ticket to pick him up. And so I can't see it happening. The Boston Bruins have made news today in that they are retiring Willie O'Ree's number 22 on February 18th. And I think that's good. And I know there are some saying, well, that seems to be overdue. Better late than never. So the Bruins are retiring that number. Craig Smith has been using that number in training camp. So on February 18th, he'll just use a different number. I remember when the Bruins retired number 7, and then Bork just went to 77. It's not really a big deal. But yeah, so they're retiring his number on February 18th. And in Boston Bruins news as well, Pasternak's on the ice. He's skating with his teammates. This is bad news for the rest of the NHL. It's good news for the Boston Bruins that it doesn't look like Marchand's going to miss the season opener. And we're probably a couple of weeks away from Pasternak being able to come back. So as long as they can win some games between now and then, keep their heads above water, the Bruins could score a bunch of goals this year and maybe stay competitive for first place in their division. It's going to be tough. Again, that blue line I think is going to make it tough. But there you go. Pasternak's back at skating. For the New York Rangers, Mika Zibanejad has cleared up why he was delayed in joining the team, and there are other players coming out. Gaetan Haas for the Oilers is going to be late starting the season as well. That both players have tested positive for COVID-19. And what it does, like, I understand that they get better and they're okay, but it does cause people to feel lethargic. So it makes them feel lethargic. They're not able to work out, especially those first couple of days. They don't feel well. And so for players coming into training camp, it's going to make it so that they're a little bit behind. So Haas is saying that it took the energy out of him. and so he's going to be a little bit behind his teammates and getting ready. For Zibanejad, he's doing the best he can to make sure he's up to speed as well. So yes, they get better, but they also do get ill, and it does cause fatigue issues. Which, there are other things that can cause fatigue issues, but in this case, it can hang around a while as well. So hopefully these are symptoms that have cleared up for them as well. So there you go. Jeremy Colleton, proving that Blackhawk fans will always have a reason to be upset in comment sections on YouTube videos. He gets a 2-year extension, and I've heard a lot about how just over the last year or so, Jeremy Colleton takes a lot of blame from Hawks fans. I don't know. I think it's easy to blame the coach. I think that this has been a team for the last few years that I don't think was a playoff team anyways. But Colleton gets a 2-year extension, and the team's already expecting to probably not make the playoffs, so I don't think there's a lot of pressure on him. He's probably going to be their coach for a while. So we'll see. If they get off to a really bad start, we'll see if that changes. The extensions are more about making sure it's not a coach going into a lame duck year, right? Where they don't have an extension, so they feel like there's no faith from the organization. So the extensions can sometimes be just a matter of, okay, the organization has faith in you, and then a few weeks into the season, that faith could change. The Dallas Stars back on the ice today. So, of course, they had their outbreak. 6 players tested positive, and now today they will be back on the ice and getting ready for the season. Their season will start a week from today at the earliest. I'll say at the earliest. I'll go ahead and hedge on that a little bit. But, so they're back on the ice today. We'll see what happens, and if we get further information. And it feels like at this stage, like I know they said we would find out which players do or don't test positive. I think what's happened is it feels like it's at the player's discretion, where the players can come out and say, yeah, that's fine. Or, the team probably just hedges and says, okay, maybe they don't want people to know, so we won't say anything. But most players will come out and tell us what's going on. And, so Dallas back on the ice. We'll see if those 6 players are on the ice. We'll see if they're key players, if they're fringe players, who it is. But, so good to see Dallas is going to be back out there. The NHL yesterday did also confirm the Lake Tahoe games, which were rumored, and this was a leak that we got about, a month ago. So it'll be Vegas against Colorado on February 20th at Lake Tahoe, and then Philadelphia and Boston February 21st. So, confirming what we already knew. And if anybody's wondering, well, why would you pick those 4 teams? It's ratings. For NBC, for Sportsnet, for anybody who carries games, they're going to want to get the teams that are going to draw the most ratings. It's not often the best teams. I know Monday Night Football. There have been many times where I've gone, man, I know these teams are both a draw, but this game is miserably bad. This shouldn't be the Monday game. So this is something that happens across multiple sports. It's not just an NHL thing. I know it happens with baseball too, where, I'm struggling to understand why there's a game that's on instead of another one, because the game that's on is of no consequence, and the game they're not showing is between 2 really good teams. So, we'll see how those games go. Hopefully they take place on time, as expected and as planned, because if you've been following any of the NBA discussions, there's been rumors of a pause coming in the NBA season because of positive tests. The NBA has pushed back on that and said, no, there won't be a pause. And part of the reason there won't be a pause is sponsors. So this is something the NHL is going to go through too, where if you start moving games around, you start delaying and postponing games, your sponsors aren't going to be happy about that. Networks aren't going to be happy about that. So this whole thing is going to be interesting for a while. It's going to be interesting for a while. And in this case, again, hopefully these games aren't affected. Hopefully none of these teams are. Hopefully we get through a 56-game season, award a Stanley Cup. Like Bevan said yesterday, they're just trying to survive the season and move on to the next one. To which, of course, players yesterday apparently blew up Frank Saravelli's phone, saying they're losing $1 billion. Half of that is our losses because we're paying for half their losses. So touche to the players on that one. And just showing that, once again, there is no harmony between the league and the union that can't be broken like that. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.